So this is a continuation of this 37-minute video I just made. uh, and I'm going to try and talk about crazy withdrawal symptoms. Well, not just withdrawal symptoms, but some of the long-term effects, symptoms I was going through before I started the withdrawal process of Clonazepam, a benzodiazepine, a controversial anti-anxiety medication that's the reason for the biggest class action lawsuit of the 80s and 90s for Great Britain, and a drug that's been tried to be pulled off the market well, twice at least. Yeah, I'm really trying to work on my habit of not saying the word and making that noise. So it's really hard to do though when you're under the influence of clonazepam, since I just took my dosage. The funny thing is, tonight is the first night where it's been a week during my withdrawal process. So I'm dropping. I don't know if this is the best idea, but it's what my doctor wants to do, and my neurologist I just started seeing. There you go. Just started seeing during my last really quick visit to follow up on my last test results. He said that I asked him really quick if he thought that dropping off 0.5 milligrams a week was safe enough so that I wouldn't pass out, black out, or have any type of seizure. And he answered really quick. He said, "No, it shouldn't be a problem at all." And I don't know if he didn't feel comfortable because that's not his department. Because later on he said I should really talk to a psychiatrist if I have concerns about my medication dosage. So he was actually agreeing with what I'm thinking, that my family doctor may not know the best withdrawal method, because the supposed expert on it not only suggests a very slow tapering process in both time and how much you cut off your dosage for every week to 2 weeks. She also suggests something that's been brought up to me before in the past when someone, this like emergency clinic, a nurse practitioner, like tried to force me to withdraw, and she tried me. There's two medications that are recommended to wean. Like, you wean off your one benzodiazepine, and then you start taking one of two recommended long-lasting benzodiazepines, which clonazepam, which I take, is a long-lasting anyway. So this is probably why my doctor decided not to do this. But the two benzodiazepines are chlorodiazepide, something like that, and then the other one is by the way, that however you pronounce that word, is the pharmaceutical name for, like, the off-brand name for Librium, and then the other one is I'm having trouble thinking right now, but it's the pharmaceutical name for Valium. I was just looking at it like last night or the night before. Anyways, they pick one of those. Typically, a doctor will pick one of those two drugs, but most people in the past, would typically take something like the popular Clonazepam, which is also commonly called Ativan. Something that when I first tried Clonazepam, I also got to try that too, but it made gives like a muscle relaxant effect. So it made my legs feel like jello, and the Clonazepam, I didn't notice anything at all because I was on a good dose of a beta blocker at the time. So I went from like playing around all the time for like months and months to all of a sudden the Clonazepam, set off the right, things in my brain to tell me to get the heck up. And over time I went from, having to lay down all the time to being able to get back to distance running. But anyways, gotta stop saying that word. My doctor is just straight weaning me off the Clonazepam. He's not integrating Valium or Librium, which I wouldn't do Librium anyways because that one nurse practitioner a year ago that tried to force me to wean off of it. My very first dosage that I took of Librium made my entire face go numb, and the top of my head, pretty much my entire head, and a lot of the rest of the parts of my body. And I remember I bent over to like untie one of my size 18 shoes, and I had both my hands on the shoe, and I literally froze for an entire 10 stinking minutes. I was just sitting there, and my brain turned to jello, and I, ended up calling this urgent care place, and where the nurse practitioner came from that prescribed me the Librium. And this was, trying to think, I might have been told to stop the Clonazepam immediately and switch it with the Librium, so that was probably part of the reason why I had such a bad reaction. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a year, so it's hard to remember. Anyways, I had a crazy reaction to the Librium and called them, and they said, "Oh, stop taking it immediately." It also gave me psychotic thoughts, similar to what happened when I tried Zoloft and Celexa. The only reason I went to that urgent care place was because I was having trouble. Yes, I was having trouble standing up despite being on Clonazepam, and I missed my appointment, and might have missed 2 appointments in a row, like 2 Tuesdays in a row, for the opportunity to get a refill at the free clinic. Or this might have been another time. There was one time where the free clinic doctor took a vacation, and yeah, there's a whole nother story. The Dr. Gilliam, who actually has a practice at the building where the free clinic allows people to come, was his replacement, and he did the similar crazy thing that the nurse practitioner did. I remember he switched me instantly from Clonazepam to Lorazepam, which is like psychotic, and then he wanted me to wean off of the Clonazepam and at the same time start on, it was some kind of SSRI medication, antidepressant, that class of drugs. I can't remember if it was me trying Zoloft again or if it was Celexa, or if it was this might have been when I tried out Paxil. Paxil had a crazy side effect where it didn't give you suicidal thoughts, but it had a bad side effect where you literally couldn't get off, and did not want that happening. I hated that. Like, your equipment, like, half it, got up, but it didn't finish the job, and that was really weird. So I did not like that at all, because I had a female roommate, and was enjoying, sharing a bed with her. So, anyways, so yeah, the Librium gave me really bad reactions. Very curious if Valium would give me a bad reaction also. But man, I'm getting hungry. Got some quick stuff to give me a kick, because if I try to actually go, I have like nothing that's microwavable right now that I know of. Okay, I have like one thing, but it's like a can of beans, and I have like the worst can opener. It takes forever to open something. So like, if I feel like I instantly need something to eat, I have pudding, applesauce, something else. I have Gatorade and bottled water. So I'll try to spit this out as quickly as I can. I'm weaning off the Clonazepam. My doctor is not integrating a switch to Librium or Valium. My best guess is, from doing my own research, is that Clonazepam is a long-acting benzodiazepine itself. But the supposed expert, I believe her name is Heather Watson, that wrote the patient handbook on benzodiazepine use and withdrawal. During the chapter over Klonopin / Clonazepam, she offers some tapering off schedules, and they all include Valium as the recommended integration drug. The whole point is to get the heck off of the Clonazepam, start on another medication that works in a slightly different way, and then taper off of that before you get addicted to it and stay off of it. So it's understandable. My doctor, for some reason, doesn't want to try that. He just wants to go the hard way, which scares the heck out of me, because taking the hard, quick route, dropping 0.5 milligram, which is a good amount. I mean, as you can tell how relaxed I am, it has its effects, and if you're just pulling that away from your brain, and it's used to that medication, to the GABA transmitters are used to that medication to do their job, then all of a sudden the medication isn't there and it's going haywire. You're going to have a huge amount of side effects, and it's a long, crazy list. The ones you don't want to happen to you are, of course, passing out, banging your head, having a seizure, biting your tongue, stop breathing during a bad seizure, bleeding in your brain, banging your head also during a seizure, hurting your neck, pulling the muscles in your neck, hurting, damaging your upper spinal cord. And of course, the worst side effect of all is your brain going so crazy and misfiring that causes an instant chemical reaction where you go psychotic and you want to off yourself. Hopefully, yeah, I'm really hoping that doesn't happen to me. I have had some crazy thoughts. Not I haven't had the urge to off myself or off anyone else, but I have had those thoughts will pop into my mind, and it's kind of like ADD or ADHD when like something pops into your mind and then like it won't go away. So that scares the crap out of me, because I know that as I'm tapering off my medication, it's only going to get worse before it gets better. Yeah, getting a little dehydrated. 37-minute video, now a 16-minute video. This blanket is a little too thick. My air is coming from the living room. There's no air conditioner in the bedroom, so it's got to make its way through the door. So it's like freezing colder on the other side of the wall and hot in here. And then to use the internet, I have to open the window just to pick up a signal, which is kind of funny. A double pane glass stops me from picking up the internet. Anyways, wow, it's been 17 minutes and I haven't even started talking about the side effects. Real quick, some crazy side effects I had are I was on a higher dosage and then I came down from that, and my brain was used to the medication, like I was saying, and it was trying to complete these processes inside my head, for cognitive functions, and that relates to other functions, and your brain is just going crazy. It's like a swarm of bees, and you cannot think straight. You stutter, can't spit out your words, you sound like you're mentally retarded. I was trying to eat dinner the other night, and part of the reason was my lost appetite, but part of my problem was also, I had some of my favorite easy to eat food in front of me. Kentucky Fried Chicken. I had the chicken, their really easy to eat macaroni and cheese, and their mashed potatoes and gravy, and I had like a fork or a spoon, and I cannot communicate to my brain to tell my hand to lift the food that I usually love to eat into my mouth. My hand was stuck there, and that's a side effect of both long-term use and withdrawal, withdrawing from the medication. So that freaking sucked, and I've had crazy anxiety attacks. I had an anxiety attack before I even came to my apartment tonight. I've been staying at my parents for a week. Today's Tuesday, and this past Saturday I came here just to play in this $10,000 prize pool poker no limit hold'em free roll that I registered for a month in advance and was looking forward to. So it took 2.5 hours just to get to the money. This site I play on, or the network I play on, Merge Network. I play in a lot of their turbo tournaments, so they go by really fast and a lot smaller field, and not like a boatload of people sitting out with 2,000 chip stacks, and you're like waiting for all these people that are sitting to disappear, so you can wipe out a good percentage of the people before you get to the money. Anyways, first place paid $1,630, which is nice for a free roll. And I played in a $100,000 one before where first place was $13,000. I was like, wow, the person who got that must be happy. Anyways, first place was still a great incentive. I was on a nice run recently. It was really crazy. I was having crazy anxiety attacks, but I played the best poker of my life, and my graph is like a straight up line right now. I for multi-table tournaments, I went from, I don't play for big money right now, especially on this network. The peak of my graph was literally at the beginning when I got lucky during 3 free rolls, when daily free rolls they used to have. I registered for 3 of these nighttime free rolls, and I got second in 2 of them and 8th place in the third one, all in one night, which is crazy because back then there was 2,000 people per tournament, maybe a little bit more for the no limit hold'ems. There was 2 no limit hold'em and 2 pot limit, or 1 pot limit Omaha, which is funny I made it that far because I still don't know that game. Anyways, my peak of my graph was at 90, and then slowly over time it went almost back to break even, and then all of a sudden I started having these crazy anxiety attacks, and then I started actually winning. It might be a coincidence, but I started loosening up my play around that time, and I started understanding that you needed to open up your hand range and go after pots more and take chances more during these turbo tournaments, or else you're going to fold your chips away, and you're never, sometimes you can make it to the final table, but you're always going to be the short stack. So it felt good going into final tables, sometimes it's the big stack or one of the big stacks. So for like 4 days in a row, my graph, like every tournament I played in, I like final tabled, and my graph just kept going up in a straight line, which is crazy. And then I played in this free roll, and after the darn 2.5 hour wait just to make it to the base spread out pay spots of like $6, I started having an attack, and only the top 307 got paid out of like 2,859 or 2,589, something like that. I made it all the way to, once we got to 307, it got to the point where I couldn't even look at my computer screen, and I am lately have been really religious about, I don't even use Poker Tracker anymore. I paid $100, even, I paid $100 for that, and even though there is a loophole to get around paying the $100, but that's another story. When I was going to Southern Illinois University, they gave me $3,500 in loan money for expenses while I was going to school and trying to go to school. And I took $100 of it and invested in Poker Tracker because I was planning on paying for my college by winning in poker, figuring out how to win. Anyways, yeah, it kind of sucks that I didn't, because I had a lot more money to play for higher stakes and actually make more than minimum wage than I do now. Anyways, during this last free roll, I couldn't look at the screen. I had to like lay down in this couch and like turn my head away, close my eyes, relax, try to fight off the attack, and had the speakers on, and just whenever it beeped and it was my turn, I got into my old habit of playing like I used to, where I just played like a type player. It was my turn, and I just played based off of what I had in my hand, and I wasn't doing what I should have been, what I was doing the rest of the first 2.5 hours of the tournament. I was taking notes on everyone and their tendencies, and it actually worked better than using Poker Tracker, you're just looking at these numbers, and on Poker Tracker works great on Poker Stars, but it doesn't work so great on Merge because their time clock starts and runs out a lot faster. So it's hard to use Poker Tracker on the Merge network. And when you take notes on players, you can type them in. You can really quickly click on their name, their screen name, and I do a good job of like speed reading over the notes I take, and then usually like throughout a tournament, the notes work more like during the actual tournament instead of like seeing a player later on, because players can change their tendencies too. But it's absolutely essential that you take notes on a player, and you can also use different symbols to label them. So, use a symbol for someone that's aggressive, tight, someone that is a calling station that you can value bet and get chips off of. Very important, and I'm so happy that 2.5 years later of playing poker, that I finally loosened up and had some either crazy lucky or crazy promising results, showing that I was playing properly. I've loosened up in the past and had some big scores, but my overall tendency is to play way too tight. Anyways, couldn't look at the screen. Anxiety attack was horrible. Couldn't take notes on the other opponents when it was really important to play. We were down to about 200 people, and then I just stack size started becoming irrelevant because of what was happening during my anxiety attack and my inability to pay attention to what was happening at the table. And I was folding hands I shouldn't have been folding, but I didn't know. I was thinking that they were good folds because there was people raising, and I wasn't paying attention to the hands that I was able to see from them, to see that they were raising with crap, and that those were good spots to shove and then get them to fold pre-flop. And the antes were kicked in and the blinds were getting big, or the antes were pretty big, so the pots were like, each pot was like 10%, getting to the point where it was 10% of my stack. So I should have been aggressively trying to steal the pots to hurry up and like double up my stack and take a chance, because the payouts were small and spread out for the longest time. Anyways, I ended up finishing 171st out of that 2,000, either 2,800 or something, 2,500 or something. Wow. Another 30-minute video. Yeah, really. This is part of my problem. I get involved in damn electronics, and then I forget to eat and drink. If I would have stayed in that tournament, if I would at least kept my stack relevant, I would have took some chances and doubled up against some of these idiots going, well, they were doing the same thing that I should have been doing, except for they were doing it with more marginal and worse hands, like people shoving ace-2, ace-4 from like early position, or like jack-8 suited from early position. Not horrible plays, but once people pick up on the fact that you're doing that and you continue to do that, someone's gonna just eat you alive, take your chips when they have a good hand. Someone's gonna wake up with something, and pay and call your all in pre-flop. Anyways, I was folding hands like king jack in late position when I should have been shoving it. Queen 10. And even though the pay spot started at 307th and I got down to 171st, I only made, my payout was only $7.20, and that's nothing compared to first place, which paid $1,630 and some change. Pay spots really jumped up like crazy once you got to the final table, final 10 or 9. Like even the final 25 or like 25th place probably paid like less than $100, I think. So, and then it just jumped up like crazy once you got to like the final 9. Similar to like the Sunday Million on PokerStars, like you got to buy in for $215, but you got to make, there's a boatload of people that register for that, and then you got to literally make the final table to at least the final 12 to get paid more than $13,000 typically every Sunday. I would love to have the money to play in that every week or every now and then. Anyways, I'm going to get off here and eat a boatload of this soft food, because it is past time I should be eating, and my medication is going to make me want to go to sleep. And I'll probably talk more about my withdrawal symptoms that I didn't have a chance to really get in detail to, since I blabbered on about other stuff. So, see ya.